Dave Chappelle was decapitated in front of us. Then when he made $500 million, they said even though his contract said he should get half of it, they said he made too much for the contract to be valid.
Did your wife and children know where you were going?
No.
No, nobody knew.
No. I bounced.
Now that sounds a little crazy.
It's not crazy because the situation kind of warranted.
Most people think Dave Chappelle walked away from a $50 million deal because he couldn't handle the pressure. But what if the number wasn't $50 million? What if it was actually closer to $500 million? It sounds crazy, a celebrity walking away from a massive contract, but according to comedy legend Katt Williams and a few documents that have resurfaced, the truth is far darker than a simple case of burnout.
He made $500 million and they offered him 50? Yes. And he said, what do you think my fans are going to say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? And they said, your fans will believe that you're a crazy crackhead by the time you get home.
The real story begins with a number. $500 million. That's $500 million. That is how much Chappelle's show made for Comedy Central. And according to the original contract, Dave was supposed to get half of that.
The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy, they're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick.
Before we dive deeper into this Hollywood conspiracy, do us a favor. If you're a fan of celebrity stories and untold truths, hit that subscribe button for the Fame Game right now. Now, when Dave tried to collect his share, the narrative completely flipped. Suddenly, Oprah was calling him paranoid on her show. Suddenly, the network was offering him a lowball contract, acting like they were doing him a massive favor.
Excuse me, not sure we're in the right place. We're looking for Clayton Bigsby.
Look no further, fella, you found me.
Clayton Bigsby, the author?
What, you don't think I can write them books? Just because I'm blind don't mean I'm dumb.
How could this have...
When Dave wouldn't play along, they didn't just try to take his show, they tried to take him out. He had made them $500 million, and they offered him a meager $50 million. That's just 10% of the show's total gross. Dave asked them, what are my fans going to say when they find out you offered me 10% of what I made you? Their response was chilling. Your fans will believe you're a crazy crackhead by the time you get home.
What about people who say you're only interested in the Middle East for oil?
What? Huh? Oil? Who said something about oil, bitch? You cooking? The only way I open the studio up now.
In the early 2000s, television was changing fast. Sitcoms were dying out. Reality shows were taking over. Cable networks were desperate for something new. That's when Dave Chappelle stepped in with Chappelle's Show, and it changed everything. Every week, Dave delivered sharp social commentary disguised as sketch comedy. He was calling out racism, government, and Hollywood, all while making people cry laughing.
Did you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Yeah.
It takes a while when you punch through
Reality shows were taking over. Cable networks were desperate for something new. That's when Dave Chappelle stepped in with Chappelle's Show, and it changed everything. Every week, Dave delivered sharp social commentary disguised as sketch comedy. He was calling out racism, government, and Hollywood, all while making people cry laughing. Dave wasn't afraid to make everyone uncomfortable, including the people who were signing his checks. The show was a goldmine.
I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those they got.
DVDs were flying off the shelves. Comedy Central's ratings absolutely exploded. The network essentially built its entire brand around him. But while the show was generating hundreds of millions, Dave was only seeing a fraction of it. And that's where the story twists. Once the money hit a certain level, the game changed, and so did the rules. At the time, Dave's contract didn't allow him to speak out about the real situation. That's when Katt Williams stepped in. According to Katt, Chappelle's show pulled in that staggering $500 million. Dave's contract guaranteed him half of whatever the show made. That meant he should have been sitting on around $250 million. But when the dust settled, Comedy Central told him something absolutely wild. He had made too much for his original contract to even be valid anymore. Imagine that. You create the biggest show on the network, they swim in profit off your name, and when it's time to pay you, they start moving the goalposts. That's when the now infamous $50 million offer showed up. Except it wasn't a new deal. It was hush money. It was their way of saying, take this little piece and keep working, or walk away with nothing. Dave wasn't stupid. He saw the trap. Once he signed that, they would own not just the show, but his entire image, his words, and his mind. As Katt Williams put it, they assassinate your character before they assassinate your contract. If you're enjoying this deep dive so far, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us share these stories. Katt wasn't exaggerating. Those who remember this know what happened next. After the contract drama, Dave didn't just quit. He fled to Africa without even telling his family where he was going. Think about that for a second. Why would he do something so drastic unless he thought he was in actual physical danger? When Dave returned and appeared on Oprah's show, he revealed they weren't just calling him crazy. They were pressuring him to take antipsychotic medication. He described how stressful it was to have people constantly walk behind him, telling him he was insane. He even found a wall built where his office used to be, a strange form of psychological pressure. Overnight, the tone around Dave changed. One minute, he's the hottest comedian in America. The next, he's a crazy crackhead. It was a full-blown PR operation, coordinated damage control. The headlines wrote the script. Dave Chappelle rejects $50 million. Dave Chappelle flees to Africa. Dave Chappelle suffers mental breakdown. Dave later said that he wasn't walking away from the money. He was walking away from the circumstances that came with that new plateau of fame. He'd seen this pattern before. He mentioned Mariah Carey, who got a massive deal, and 3 months later, she was mysteriously labeled crazy. Martin Lawrence, who was found waving a gun on the street, screaming, "They're trying to kill me." These things always seem to happen when an artist crosses over to that next level of power. Once that crazy label sticks, you're done. The same thing happened to Britney Spears, Kanye West, and many others. The pattern is always the same. Push back against your handlers, get labeled unstable, and watch everything you worked for disappear. That's the best case scenario, because if the smear campaign doesn't work and the public doesn't buy the crazy label, things can get darker. Hollywood has a way of erasing people permanently. Strange plane crashes, ODs, or accidental drownings. Once they've already planted the seed that you're unstable, nobody even questions it. So when you think about Dave not only walking away from that $50 million offer, but fleeing to another continent without telling his own wife, you know the pressure behind the scenes was worse than anything we were told. You don't do something like that unless you genuinely fear for your life. The fact that Dave walked away alive is frankly a miracle. He refused to play the game. He saw the trap, called their bluff, and walked out of the fire. He eventually made a grand comeback. But there's another side to this story. Some fans who followed Dave from the Chappelle Show days say he's not the same. His comedy today is different, more cautious. He rarely goes after the system the way he used to. Perhaps that's part of surviving. Maybe the system doesn't just try to ruin you financially, it tries to soften you. It makes sure that when you come back, you don't burn the house down again. Dave managed to bounce back. He's rich and his empire is still his. But the fearless, unfiltered voice that challenged the system without mercy, the one who walked away from $500 million, that version of Dave Chappelle may never fully return. Well, now I want to hear from you. Do you think Dave Chappelle's life was really in danger back then? Is that why he escaped to Africa? And what about today? Did surviving the system change his comedy? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. And if you want another deep dive into a dark celebrity secret, don't miss out on this next story.